What's going on, everybody? It's be your boy
DJ Anonymous.
DJ Anonymous with another episode of Sports Biz Music, the podcast. And I got a alumni on the show today, a returning guest on the show today. Y'all should know y'all should know him because he's on the show before, but I'm gonna reintroduce himself to y'all. He's the actor, writer, creator of his own show, Hurt People, Building and Broken series. Welcome back, my boy, Ricardo Richard. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Nah, no problem, man. When you it was crazy when we spoke before we started recording. You was telling me it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember you was like one of the few guests I had on my show when I first started, doing the podcast, and that's around the same time when you was, I believe you just started working on your show, and it just released on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's crazy how time went by so fast, So,
yeah.
So thank God we here.
Right, absolutely. Through a pandemic, through everything. So yeah, definitely. Like, can't believe it's been like almost 5 years.
It gotta be, because this year would be, it's crazy. I think it would be 2023, 2017. 2017, I first, that's like 6 years? I think 6 or 7 years. So, yeah, it's been about 5 years. 5 years, this year it'd be 5 years, because that's when I was on the, on the get up, like doing the episode like pretty much every goddamn day, trying to get back to that. But yeah, man, 4 or 5 years, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So how you been though? You said you was down here in Miami when it was, you said in October?
I was in Miami back in November for my birthday, and with a couple of friends. And Miami, I would say, is definitely a vibe, and it was just a good time. I stayed just for like maybe 3 days, and it was just a good time. Like, I really, really enjoyed myself. I definitely plan on coming back out there. Like, and I would say it was inexpensive to get down there. I think my flight was like maybe like $130 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, dang, like that was pretty decent for a round trip to get to Miami, opposed to like getting to LA, with sometimes like $600-700 for a round trip. So Miami, it was cool. Like, I love Miami.
Yeah, because it's the South, but it's still basically the East Coast. It's like I know people from Texas, they'll tell me like it's cheaper to go from Texas to California, and I'm like, yeah, because y'all in the West Coast, Midwest, West Coast, so it's not that far. Like, I remember when we went up to Baltimore, me and my wife and her family, the tickets wasn't even that expensive, especially at that time. That was before the pandemic. It was like round trip. It was around probably like the same price or a little bit cheaper, but yeah, it's what I learned about traveling, especially like on air. Like from here to Atlanta is like $40. So
oh wow.
So it's just like it's right there. And I think from here to Houston is about, like, on a good day is about maybe 60 or 70 per person. So it's not that bad. But so yeah, just tell us about before we get into like, your updates on your show and your new, ventures, like, tell us your experience about Miami real quick.
I just really liked the culture. I liked the palm trees. I liked that it was warm. I love the water. I think the older I get, it's something about the water that just contributes to like my peace of mind. So I really love the water. Whether it be like a lake or beach or just a river. Like, I love the water. I think that was like one of my favorite parts about Miami, just the imagery, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being by water. And I did get a chance to go on like South Beach, which is cool. I really kind of wish I would have got a chance to go to Peter Spot Bar 1. Well, we didn't get a chance to go, but definitely when I go back down there, I would definitely love to go try their food. Yeah, that was cool. We visited a church too when we was down there. The people ain't know we wasn't from there, and they like, we want y'all to join. I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we ain't from out here. You know what I'm saying? So, it was just cool. It was really cool. I just liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, in the South they call certain parts of the South the Bible Belt. Just because you see a church on every corner, I'm like, you notice down here in Miami, it's the same. It's the same thing. We got a church on every corner. Even though I tell, like, especially people that's not from here, that people see Miami on TV, they see the beaches, they see the nice sand, but they don't see like the other side of it. And I ain't even talking about the hood. I'm just talking about like just the actual, like, you can get like an actual Southern hospitality. It's a blue collar city. A lot of people work hard. And I tell people too is that certain times of the day, you people be on the go, but at the same time, if you reach out to them or they'll reach out to you, we'll say hey, but it also, because it's like a melting pot down here. So you got people from all over different places, and some people may not want to speak at one moment because of the language barrier. So yeah, man. Overall, I love my city. Does it have its fault like every other city? Yeah, but I still love my city, and people like yourself that come down here, that go to certain places, not just South Beach, that talks great about the city. I appreciate that, because that's like me, going to New York or going to Philadelphia and just going to the tourist spots, or going to Jersey and just going to Jersey City or something, and just hitting up the casinos, but not embracing everything around the areas that's especially as historical, that have a lot of stuff that deal with it. But yeah, but like I said, like, when you come back down, I'm gonna show you all different parts of Miami, even the countryside of Miami. Yep, all the farmland and everything.
Oh wow, okay.
You know, so 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 let's talk about like what's been going on. It's been about 4 or 5 years since you've been on the show. I know you got a new season for your show, Hurt People. But and we talked last time we spoke. We talked about the first season and how amazing it was.
Mhm.
So in between then, like, have you before we talk about the second season, because I gotta watch the second season anyways. But
Yeah.
in between,
Yeah, you gotta.
have you been working on different projects, some new projects? In between,
Um, yes, in between, it's been, honestly, God is amazing. You get what I'm saying? And anytime that I ever do like radio or anything, I always want to give God does like his just due. You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So, God is just an amazing God. Yeah, just amazing. Jesus is amazing. So, I was able to do a play in between seasons. I was able to get my own radio show that I do once a month. Maybe you could come on one day.
Oh yeah,
I
of
can
course.
interview you. So I do a radio. It's like an internet radio show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you call in, and it's based out of Lagos, Nigeria. And so yeah, like I do that once a month. And then
How you got that gig, by the way? Like how did
I
you get into the radio?
how I got that opportunity was because, well, I never desired to do radio. I just wanted to always act. And it's just amazing to me how God just does things, how one thing leads to another thing. And I was talking to my dad yesterday. I said a lot of times people want to get to step 5, but you got to get to step 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes in life, people also, and I went on my live. You got to follow me on Facebook because I do a lot of my lives on there where I talk about the art of comparison. Every live I talk about God and about salvation and giving your life to Christ and stuff like that. Also, but I was talking about the art comparison is like a stealer of joy. I think I heard that from somewhere. But basically, I was just talking about how somebody might compare, like, see where you at, and they comparing their life, or we might compare our lives to a favorite celebrity or something, and we're just looking like, yo, how did they get there? But I remember I was telling my dad, like, I was just like, if people want to take my success, then they need to take my struggle.
Right.
So it's just like everybody want to be successful and make money, but nobody's willing to put the work in. So I realized, like, there was a time in my life, like in my early 20s, like I just worked, I was grinding. And then now that I'm older, you get what I'm saying? I'm traveling more, I'm seeing the world more. But if somebody look on my social media, they'll just be like, yo, he's always somewhere. Oh my goodness, I want to live like that. Cause I could see, like, sometimes people envious of your life and they don't even know what's going on. You get what I mean? So I think for me, it was a season for that. Like, it's a season now that I'm in where I'm traveling different places of the world, but it's a season. It might not always be that season. One day I might be a father. I might not be able to travel as much as I am. So right now I'm in that season of getting up and going to LA, going to Texas, just came back from Puerto Rico, Miami. Last year I went so many places, Texas and, you know, Orlando, and like I said, LA. I went to just a couple of places, like mad places I went to last year. But at the end of the day, like, my thing is like, I never want nobody to feel inferior, because it's just like, nobody's going to show you their downs, you know what I'm saying, on social media. Right. They're only going to celebrate their wins. So a lot of times when people look on social media, they're looking at people's lives, and sometimes it makes them feel depressed. It makes them feel low. It makes them feel like they're not doing enough. And I'm just here to tell you, like, anybody out there that's going to listen, just focus on God and focus on where you are in your life, because at the end of the day, it's just like, nobody could be you better than you. Right. And it's just like where I'm at in my life. Like, I would never want to be Jay-Z or Beyonce or none of those people. I want to be the best version of Richard. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, I think a lot of people out here are lost, and a lot of people, they don't even know who they are because of maybe they acquired or learned certain ways based on their environment or survival. And it's just like, I was saying this too to somebody, like, and I say this on my live, I was like, yo, it's millionaires in the project. Mm-hmm. But people would never step out and be who they're called to do, because guess what? That's all they know. Yeah. So it's just like, guess what? My dad sold drugs and my grandpa sold drugs, and you feel what I'm saying? Like, my mom, you know, this is all I know, but it's just like, it ain't always like, okay, it's all you know, but that doesn't mean that's all there is. So it's just like, I just think to myself, how many people in life never really get a chance to be who they, like, their authentic self, because they're just stuck in survival mode, or they're stuck in just, you know, this is just the way it is, and they never try, you know? So that's why I just love, like, where I am. Like, even when I was telling you off record, like, I decided to stop drinking. That was really, it wasn't hard at first, but when life happened, like, my brother got murdered 2 years, about July would be 2 years when my brother got murdered. They shot at my brother.
Oh, shit. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. They shot at my brother like over 20-something times. Damn. But they shot my brother. They killed my brother in a park. So the last time I saw my brother, it was his dead body on social media. Like, they made a mockery of my brother's death. So, and then I lost my grandma right after that, cancer, my grandfather, and then I just lost the woman who raised me just a couple of months ago, which was his mother. So it's been tough, but through all of it, I just put my faith in God. I just feel like if it wasn't for God, I'd have been somewhere like my character, you know. But by the grace of God, I just went to God. I would talk to God. I would cry to God. I would be frustrated. I would pray, and sometimes I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I felt like nothing was changing. I felt like God wasn't doing nothing, but that's because I wasn't having faith. I was going based on what I saw. I was going based on what I felt. And one thing about anybody that knows anything about faith is not about what you see. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. So once I start putting my faith in God and not my feelings, that's why I want to get a t-shirt that says faith over feelings. Because when you look out in the world, you see all of this destruction, you'll think it ain't no God, but in all actuality, God ain't violating our free will. So it's just like God is a sovereign God. God, like, listen, I give everybody free will, but a lot of people be like, oh, why would God allow this to happen? God gave us free will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And this is the thing. Nobody wants God to violate their free will when it comes down to them doing what they want to do. But people want God to violate their free will when it comes down to evil in the world. But it's evil that people, you feel me, and their bad decisions, you feel me, and with the evil that they do, you get what I'm saying? And also, of course, demonic activity, the enemy, the devil, all that stuff too. But it's just like our bad choices. So if we don't want God to violate our free will as far as when we're out here doing what we want to do, then why would we want him to violate free will when it's evil in the world? So it's just like God love us to be able, he love us too much to be able to, he want us to choose him. Mm-hmm. You know, he could have made us all robots and we could have a gun to our head and it could have been like, yo, love me. But that's not how he wanted to be. He want us to choose him freely. So that's why we have free will. So we could either choose to love God or we could choose to live for ourselves and do what we want to do. But at the end of the day, it's choices and it's consequences to that. So I feel like this world isn't set up to really have a relationship outside of God. I feel like every person in this world has like it's like a void in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that it's they fill it up, the void, with alcohol, drugs, sex, you know, murder, or just all kind of crazy stuff. And that void is really only can be filled by the Holy Spirit, only by having a true relationship with God. So I realized that people will hurt you, you know what I'm saying? But God, you know what I'm saying? God will be there. If you really, truly want to get to know him, he'll show up. And God has showed up in my life so many times. But like I said, if I could be 100 with you, it was times where I prayed and prayed and prayed. And I felt like God, where you at? Like, mm-hmm. And I prayed in weeks and months. And I just was like, yo, but over in time, as I kept being faithful, you know, he showed up. But he didn't show up when I wanted him to, because I had to have patience. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? But he showed up, though. So anybody out there, if you go, listen, I lost my brother, and it's painful for me. And it was times where I didn't even know if I was going to do a season 3. I didn't know if I was going to do this movie. The last season is a movie. I didn't know if I was going to do a movie because it was just too much going on. I started getting, after season 2, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. We had billboards, we was a newspaper, we had commercials, you know, it was like a local commercial, but it was like on own BET, all of these great things, all of the stuff that I ever wanted. But when the pandemic had stopped, happened, it stopped a lot of stuff that I had coming, and season 2 didn't do what I thought it should do. So I got really discouraged. Mm-hmm. And of course, like I said, life was happening where I just was like, I don't know, but what's so crazy was even when season 2 came out, I had already almost finished season 3, but I kind of, honestly, even though I was shot most of the season, I kind of stopped. Like, it was just sitting there, and then a lot of stuff that I was supposed to film, didn't get filmed, after working on a project 4 or 5 years. Some people, they want to work on other projects. Some people want to go do other things, right. People don't want to continue to act anymore, so it was just like, I had to realize that it just taught me a lot. Like, these last couple years, losing so many people to my and my family, especially losing my brother, the way he died, and he got 5 kids out here. So it's just like, for me, I was telling my sister today, like, it just made me realize that people are temporary. Mm. Pain is temporary. People are temporary. Like, even when you're talking about your wife, like, I look at that situation, that's a union, like, between you and her and God. Y'all are one right. Flesh. You're not going to always have her. So it's like, while you have her, you do right by her. You love her. Like Christ, like you love her, because I think that if we as people would see that people aren't disposable, and that, I love what Monica said on her Instagram, people out here fumbling. They always talk about fumbling the bag, but people out here fumbling people. Mm-hmm. That some people you might only get to know once in a lifetime, And I'm like, dang, that's real. That's better than gold. Like, when you meet somebody that's solid and that love you for you, like, work doing stuff and series and all these opportunities. Like my movie poster came out, all of these people reaching out, and I'm just like, see, I don't want people to love me because I'm an actor or because they feel like I'm about to pop or not. Or, you know what I'm saying? I want people to love Richard, like
For
not
you.
Ricardo the artist, you know? And I find myself, a lot of people don't, like, I would say love me as a person. They love the access. They love a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? So I'm learning, you know, and once that access is gone, once that part, they can't utilize that anymore, then there goes the relationship, you know? So I'm learning, but like I said, I realized even my sister, I sat here and I was looking at her and I was like, listen, I love you. I can't even imagine, you know what I'm saying, life without you. And I told my pops that last night. I said, but you know, while we here, I want to really love my sister and I want to love my dad. Doesn't mean we're not going to always get along. We're going to have disagreements with different people, but it just made me realize if people really knew that the people that your loved ones, your kids, your mom, that I'm not always going to be here.
True.
You know, that some of them you might not never ever get a chance to see ever again in your life, you know, and because everybody's not going to make it to heaven. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, in my mind, I'm just like, you know what? That perspective, it just teaches me to love people while I'm here. Even though it might be some people that might not be in my life the same way. Some people don't have the same access, but I can still forgive them.
Yeah, because that's what it is about. This is what life taught me the last 2, 3, 4 years, especially the last, I want to say the last 3 years, because, you know, we all been tested. We all been going through stuff. I lost my granddad a year ago, literally a year ago. And he was, you know, he had Alzheimer's, you know, so he had cancer first. He had a prostate that was probably like 2. He had it for a while, but he beat it. Like it was 2 or 3 years before prior. But what I learned while I was, you know, taking care of him was that, you know, when especially men, when we have prostate cancer, certain other diseases could kick it, because when you go through any type of cancer therapy, your body become vulnerable. And I just learned that while I was, you know, because I was taking care of my granddad, me and my mom, and a few others, like my aunt and my god sister, and I was like, that's crazy how, like, you know, he beat one thing, but then he got to deal with, you know, having Alzheimer's. And, you know, it was tough because, you know, me growing up, you know, my granddad was always the one that he was cool and collected, but at the same time, it was like he was quiet, but when he spoke, everybody be quiet, because he had so much knowledge, you know. And as he got older and as I got older, especially when my grandma passed back in 2013, I can tell, like, you know, it started hurting him, you know. But when I started doing my master's degree, I think it was back in 2016, when I started to help him, he couldn't drive no more. Everything was still cool because he was still talking, but I want to say the last 2 years, it was just so, like, just seeing him deteriorate like that, it kind of hurt me the most. And that was like the first time I ever seen that. You know, of course, you know, you have loved ones that pass, whether it's naturally or, you know, once again, I'm sorry, you know, for your brother who, you know, who passed away, unfortunately, to, like, gun violence. But for me, I'm like, I literally seen my granddad become like the strong man, and then just slowly, you know, get weak and weak by the years. And, you know, it was just crazy to see that. And people gotta understand, like, you know, that's like when you, like, for example, your brother passed, you know, your grandma and them passed, you know, that's mental. That's like we need, you know, we need to talk, you know, like we need to get some relief, because when that happened and when he finally passed, I'm like, you know, it's certain stuff like I don't say this much to people, but like when I hear like the sirens or the firefighters and the ambulance, it kind of give me what they call that? It give me what they call that? What's the word? It gives me I'm sorry, y'all. It gave me flashbacks, but I'm trying to say another word. But it gave me flashbacks, and it's not a good. It's like a feeling that's like, you know, when you make that call and the ambulance, the cops come and stuff. Once the person pass on, it's just like it's like a bad feeling, you know. But at the same time, you know, like you said, you know, you appreciate them while you here, and all that sadness is not forever. You know, there's gonna be days when you think about the good times, the great times, and it keep us lifted. You feel me? So yeah, I feel like the last 3-4 years, you know, with the pandemic, you know, all this, you know, it's been a whole bunch of death, a whole bunch of losses. It's been a challenging 5 years for a lot of us, you know, and you know, like you said, our faith get tested, but we can't give up. You know, we got to keep it. You know, you got to keep it pushing. But also, one thing you did say that was great when you said that you already wrote season 3, but you wasn't in a hurry to, you know, film at the time. I got to a point because, you know, I was, you know, like before we started recording, I was telling you like I was doing episodes like every day, every other day, doing 3-4 episodes a day. Sometimes it's good to slow down. You know, sometimes it's good to just have a peace of mind. Like you've been traveling a lot the last year or so. Like that's therapy. You know, some people think that, oh, you got to go to a therapist and stuff, which is cool. Like, but at the same time, therapeutic could be traveling. Therapeutic could be just talking to yourself. Or not really talking to us. You talking to God, but you know what I'm saying. Like you therapy could be in many ways. It could be used in many ways. And I think that what the pandemic taught me, specifically the pandemic taught me, was that, you know, life is precious, but also even when life is good, you know, we still need therapy. You know, we still need to slow down sometimes, you know, so.
Right. So true. So true.
So yeah, man, so that's a message for everybody. But let's stop with all that sadness and stuff, that serious talk. We got that out of the way. Let's talk about season 2. I have not, you know, don't spoil it too much because I haven't watched it yet. But season 1, you know, it was remarkable. It was a lot of twists and turns.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know you had a lot of great, you know, reviews because I gave it 10 out of 10. But for the people that, you know, that haven't seen it yet, you know, and for the people who already seen it, like what was different from season 1 to season 3? I mean, season 2.
I think season 2, it's kind of like a sophomore thing, like sophomore jinx. Like I hear a lot of artists talk about that, like their second album, you know. So it's okay. Can I do this again? And then I taking the original cast and then now adding more people to the cast. You know that was different. You know, adding more people and adjusting, and then some people, I think maybe like 1 or 2 people didn't come back for season 2. And the little boy who played my son in season 1, he wound up moving away.
Wow.
To North Jersey, and he recently moved to South Jersey, and but so I had to replace him. So you'll see a different Chase in season 2. And
he was acting good too. Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy because when I was like looking back or whatever at the show, sometimes every now and then I go back and look at it, and it just like, wow, like, you know, I don't know, it's just amazing. Like, you know, when I was younger, You know, I have a short attention span. So when I was little, I remember my dad was telling me as I got older, when I was grown, he was like, or well, it could have been my aunt. She was like, they wanted to put you in special ed because your attention span is short. So I'd be in class and then I'd be dozing off, you know, I'd be daydreaming. And I just think to myself, had I been, and I struggle with the reading and writing. So for me to be later on to be a writer, now I'm a writer, like if you would have told me, like when I was a kid, somebody would have told me like when you get older, you're going to be writing series and movies and stuff like that. I would have never believed it because I struggle so bad. You know what I mean? With reading and writing. So that's just a testament like of who God is. But season 2 is about 3 brothers. And if you watch season 1, one of the boys, the young brothers got killed.
Yeah.
And so basically what I do in season 2 is one of the episodes, the other brother ran away. So season 2 picks up where the 4th episode left off at. Season 1 has 8 episodes, but I pick up on the 4th episode when when the brother ran away from the other brother getting killed in the alleyway by the police officer. So I pick up from there. So then it's just like this story is telling you like what happened to this kid, you know, like why did he just get, you know, killed in the alleyway? Because it doesn't really have that much context as far as like you just see like us, my character, and all of them. So the little boys, they're in there like 1 or 2 episodes, you know, in season 1, but in season 2, now it's centered around the kids, and we're still in the show, the adults, but it's more centered around the kids. So you got 3 brothers. When they go back in the past, you know, in retrospect, they found out you'll discover that they had another brother, and even though he's the youngest brother out of 3, he's actually the wisest out of them. And they, you know, they don't want to listen to him because he's the younger brother, and but it's just really a good story. Like, it's 3 brothers, and they're just trying to fit their living out on the street. And mom is gone, and they love their mother so much, you know. And then they got to get up and go to school every day, and act like nothing is happening. Which, you know, I'm a teacher by day, so I see, you know, the ins and outs. And I mean, I see a little bit of stuff that happens, and there's a lot that happens to these kids. And, but you know, they still come to school every day, you know, so, and then also you'll see me, my characters in rehab, and, Bashir, character, the main character he's trying to figure out like where he is now after he talked to his father, and, he still feels lost, you know, so, that's really like the sum. You know, when he feels like all else fails and he's giving up, he actually meets someone, and he kind of saves their life and they save his life. Like it's a lot happening in season 2. And the lady who played my character, my mother, you know, she's still trying to fight. She's still trying to fight for her son, and she's beating herself up because her son is an alcoholic, and she's just like, is it something I've done? Could I have done better? You know, should I have not been there? You know, should I have been there even more than I already have? Was I enabling? Like, she's trying to figure out on the mother's side, like, I did all that I could do as a single mother. Like, did I miss anything? And I think that's something that some parents could struggle with, especially single moms, like, who when fathers walk out, they got to be mom and dad. And then, you know, things happen with the kids, so they start blaming themselves. So, and then Bree, she's still on the search for her family, and she's still trying to find out who she is. And then, like I said, there's some new characters in the season. So season 2 I loved filming season 2.
Was it more fun? Was it more fun filming season 2 than season 1? Was it more difficult? Like,
I think it was definitely more challenging at times because it was more people. So when you have a couple, I just had a couple people on season 1. Now season 2 is like kind of almost double. You get what I mean? So it was a lot more challenging. And then me working with kids that was like, 10, 11, and 12. So it was just like the kids, they still were kids. You know what I mean? So it was just like there were times where I'm like, come on, y'all, you know. But when it was time to get on that camera, amazing, you know. But kids want to be kids, you
Yeah.
know. It's like, come on, we got to get up, we gotta film, we gotta go shoot 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. You know, they want to sleep in and they want to. Could we go to this party? Could we go do this? Could we do that? I'm like, yo, we got to shoot, we got to film. So they were practicing sometimes two times, you know, 3 times a week, and then shooting too for hours. So, um, but it was amazing though working with those kids. I learned a lot from them kids. There were other kids that got a chance to be a part of the show, like guest appearances. And when I tell you, I wish I would have got a chance to film behind the scenes because it was just as powerful. You know, I had one little girl who's an adult now. She's 18 now, but at the time she was young. She was just talking about her struggles with her dad, and how her dad didn't want nothing to do with her. Like, oh, you old news. And I'm like, wow, this stuff really happens. Like, people really tell their kids that. So you had these kids battling depression, and you know, and not feeling like they're heard from their parents because they're a kid. Like, and I'm like, wow, like I'm so like in shock that they would entrust me with how they felt. And so it was a lot happening behind the scenes that a lot of people would never get the opportunity to really know. So I really, even though they were young, I really did enjoy working with the kids because, you know, there were some amazing kids and some good kids, and there was some unfortunate things that was happening behind the scenes with some of these kids and families. But feeling them still show up, you know, people would never know, you know, watching the show.
I definitely gotta start. I'm gonna watch it this week. The
Yeah,
season
definitely
2.
check it out. I think you're gonna love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. It's really season 2 is lit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
And,
I love season 2 is great.
and you said that season 3 is really you gonna make it as a movie. Why is that?
Season 3 would be a 3-part movie slash miniseries. So it's 3 episodes, but I broke it down to 3 parts of the movie. It was gonna be I think season 3 was always gonna be a miniseries or but what happened was, like I said, but it was gonna be like it wasn't gonna be 3 episodes. But I made the episode longer. And what I did was also, like I said, the pandemic, it really affected a lot. You know what I mean? And, you know, people, when the pandemic happened, people were nervous. People don't want to film. Like, people were scared for their life, you know? So it killed a lot of stuff. It really, really did. But I still feel like the show came out amazing. Season 3, I would say some of the characters that you see from the previous seasons are not in there. So what it did was it challenged me as a writer because season 3 was so lit. It's still lit, but when I first wrote season 3 out, it was amazing. Like, it was great. And I had to wind up rewriting a lot of stuff over because for sure you won't see him in season 3. And I had to change the Bree character. So it was a lot of stuff happening, you know, going into the last season. Like I was saying, other people decided they wanted to do other things or, you know, just other things. They want to do other things. They still supported the show. But knowing me, like, just from loving other people's shows and stuff, like, and mainstream, you see people and you want them to continue, you know? So I wanted to keep the cast together as much as I could. And most of the cast did stick together, but I also had to respect, you know what I'm saying, that other people wanted to work on other stuff, you know, and do other things, you know what I mean? And I was just really grateful that I was able to work with these people for years, you know, and a lot of them, you know, the one that played Brashear, which his name was Rasan, and the one that played the original Bree, you know, all of them will be at the movie premiere in May. So it's still all love. Like, it's not like anything bad happened, you know. I think when you're creating the show and you're depending on people, you know, that's one thing. But I also know that these people were also my friends. So you got to also allow people to grow, whether they want to continue acting or not, or they want to just say, you know what, this ain't for me anymore. I want to, you know, go back to school, or I want to spend more time being a mom, or, you know. So, it's amazing.
I mean, you gotta think about it too. You being a director, a writer, you will want your actors to always grow because, you know, you never know. It could be a few of them that just, you know, blow up one day and they become so famous, and you know they thank you, and they could bring you with you. They could bring you with them. You know, vice versa. Like,
Right.
so for me, when I was DJing, and you know, managing artists at the time, like this is before I started doing podcasting. You know, I know a couple artists now. They ain't really stick with their craft. They went more, you know, with the social media comedian route, or some went investing and stuff. But I can say that, hey, at one point I worked with them, you know, in the studio, and everything they put in the music, they put in their passion they have right now. And, you know, I'm just proud of them. You know, so it's sometimes like it's weird. It's like, you know, being a DJ, being a producer, being a director, being a writer. We kind of be like the older parents, the older, not older, well, we be like parents or the older brother, older sister, you know, like older cousin, uncle, aunt. Like we nurture them, or we see them grow, and it's just, we sit back, we be like, damn, like they grew up, you know, or they grew into, you know, something special that we already knew that they was gonna be. So I just feel like sometimes it's a great thing.
Absolutely, and you gotta let people fly. You know.
Yep.
Definitely. So season 3 is my baby too. You know what I'm saying? And what I did was, being that Verse Vasan first year who was the main character. He didn't want to continue to do season 3, so I had to, like I said, I had to. It just caused me to be, to depend on myself more. And it made me realize that sometimes you might write a script and you might have to wind up writing it over or changing some things up. And that's what I had to do. So season 3, I'm in the show. I'm in the movie in season 3, but you'll see less of me in this final movie. This actually is the last season. And well, I would say technically it's not the official last season. Like the official last one is the book. So I'm working on a book now. I finished writing it. I wrote it during the pandemic, and it's called Trauma Healed People Heal People.
Oh shit! So are you gonna stop hurt people, or are you gonna continue that and then just start, you know, the other series at the same time? Like, how you gonna do it?
Well, I would say for right now, this series, Hurt People, Hurt People. I really, as far as doing another season, like as far as videography, like doing a video, I think this would be the last season, like the movie, Hurt People, Bitter and Broken, the movie, like this is it. But the 4th, like final season is really the Trauma Heal People book. So instead of doing a 4th season, I was just able to kind of put it in a book. And
I was about to ask you that. I was like, are you gonna write a book?
Yes. So it's crazy because it's not that hard to explain, but it's just season 3, like video, like the movie is going to be the final visual, but the book is honestly the last season. You get what I mean? So, yes. So the 4th season would be like in a book form. You get what I mean? People get a chance to read, and yeah, it's amazing, like the book. So right now I'm just going through the process of it, having the editor look over it. So I'm really excited about the book. So once the movie come out this year, the top of the year, hopefully, the book could be available. That way people won't have to wait so long in between the years and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that, you know, the whole series, the movie will be out probably in the fall. The movie premieres May 12th in New Jersey. I'm going to have like a private screening. Movie premiere.
You said when is it?
May 12th.
That's Mother's Day weekend though, right?
It is. And I ain't even realized it when I booked it too. So it's going to be like on a Friday. So I'm excited. So I'm, you know, making preparations and stuff for now or whatever. But I'm really grateful. Like I'm excited. But it honestly is really bittersweet because I've been working on the show since 2017. You get what I mean? So to kind of end it the way I do, and it's like even in mainstream, some people don't get a chance to have 3 seasons or 4 seasons, you know, a book or with a 4th season. Like some people do one season and that's it, you know. So to be able to do 3 seasons, you know, and to be able to write each season, you know, by myself and be able to produce it, and you know, be able to, you know, do a lot of it. It was great. But even though I wrote it by myself and I directed it and all of that stuff by myself, I still feel like I didn't do it all by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like this is not my show. I feel like it's all of our show, you know, and I'm just the vessel, you know, so, but I had to take the time out to sit and be still and work on it, you know, but I'm really proud of the show. And you know, one woman from Indiana saw the show and she's like, it touched my spirit. And I'm like, wow, that's different. You know what I mean? I never heard that before. Just like, it touched my soul. And I'm like, wow, you know, but it's that hurt people thing. A lot of people don't want to have those hard conversations with their parents about how they was raised, you know, like, so it's a lot of hurt. People don't want to hurt. Everybody want to just sweep it under the rug. But if you don't deal with it, it'll deal with you, you know, like, people wonder why people 40 years old and still, you know, got all of this trauma because they never healed from it.
Never.
Like, just because you grow and you get older doesn't mean you're growing, you know, so you got a lot of people 40, 45, 50, and they're still a kid because they never dealt with their childhood trauma. So, and sometimes people don't want to have those conversations, and it's hard. But in order to get from hurt people to heal people, you know, you gotta have those hard conversations, and you gotta, you know, work towards your healing because, you know, nobody's gonna want it as bad as you do. So, getting to that place of healing, you have to fight for it, you know. So.
Yeah, man. Like, we may be up there in the East Coast. If we up there in the East Coast, I gotta go. I'll let you know, probably like a month and a half before. But I gotta go. And, you know, it's one thing about y'all New Jersey folk. It's something about New Jersey and Florida. Like, we kind of like in the same boat in terms of, like, you know, New Jersey, y'all in the East Coast, but y'all shadowed over Philadelphia, you know, New York, you know, Boston. You know, you got the DMV, not that far, you know, DC, Baltimore. But even down here, you know, in the South, like, people don't realize, you know, if it wasn't for, you know, Miami music, you know, Miami in general, it wouldn't be no such thing. It wouldn't be a genre that's Southern hip hop, you know. But then you look at, you know, everybody talk about Atlanta, Houston, you know, New Orleans, you know, Memphis, you know, especially now they talk about Atlanta or Memphis. It's like we in the out, we part of the region, but we not because we different, and we also don't get that same respect. Like, I think about Jersey, think about all the hip hop legends that came out of there. You got Redman, you got Queen Latifah, you got Lauryn Hill, you know, you got Fetty Wap. You know, you got a whole bunch of people that came out of this. Joe Budden, especially for what he's doing for the media. So it's just like it's crazy.
For real,
it's crazy how y'all continue to be overshadowed, you know, and underestimated. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, absolutely. So. And then where I'm from, I'm actually from Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So just like Trenton is not really like, I think Samore is from Trenton, the comedian. I found out Dennis Rodman's from Trenton, but there's not really a lot of people.
Is it SZA or her? Any one of them from Jersey?
I think SZA might be from Jersey.
She was born in Missouri, but she was raised in Jersey, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think SZA might be from or lived in Jersey before, but definitely there's a lot of talented people this way. But I would love to see more people pop out of Trenton, New Jersey. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. Like, I really feel like my series could help heal a lot of people and help people see their hurt. You know, I remember I had one girl Project, she was like, I can't watch it because it's like looking at my life. So it's just like when people looking at their life, they don't want to deal with reality. They don't want to look in the mirror. So they rather ignore it. So when what people watching, I've heard people say, "Oh, it's just it's it's really sad and it's this and that," and it's like, yeah, like life is hard. Life ain't you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's not easy, and people don't really want to deal with it because we rather just smoke it and drink it away. So we ain't got to deal with reality. So, for some people, watching my show is very painful for them because it reminds them of their life and how they don't want to deal with it. So I've heard people, like even people in my own family, it's just, it's sad and this and that. And I'm like, like growing up in the hood and people dying and all kind of stuff and it is sad, but you can overcome it though, so I realized that like a lot of times people don't want to deal with their life. They don't want to, they rather just numb the pain instead of addressing it. So I'm really proud of the work that I've done and I want to grow. I want to grow as a writer. And I also meant to tell you that I had also, some people reached out to me too about doing another radio show. But it's like an ensemble cast. I haven't really announced that on my social media yet because it's just something new, but that's something that I'm working on too. So it's a lot happening. Like, you know what I mean? I've been telling myself I don't want to abandon the acting. So I got an idea for a new, like a short, because I haven't wrote a short yet. But I just told myself I need to just, finish with Hurt People, finish with this book, get this book out, and I really want to because I haven't acted in 2 years. So I really want to get back into, filming my own stuff again and even auditioning maybe to be a part of somebody else's stuff so that way I can learn more about the business. So I don't have a problem with being a part of other people's projects and learning and growing together. But I know everybody doesn't have that mindset either, So.
And what about, you can even do the podcast industry, like the you could even do podcasting, like in terms of people to understand one of the top categories in podcasts is drama, is drama, criminal, and storytelling. Documentaries, they in podcasting right now. So for you, you could come up with another series. I mean, you could come, with a hurt people extra, or even just a whole new series, or even a documentary. You could come up with a documentary to talk about Trenton. Like, I haven't really seen, documentaries that talk about Trenton or even New Jersey as a whole because. I spoke to people from the South, of New Jersey. I talked to people from the North, and they say it's a difference between North Jersey and South Jersey. South Jersey is more influenced by Philly and all that, right? And then North Jersey is more, of course, New York and all that. So you could talk about that. I haven't seen nobody do it.
Right, that's a good idea. Trenton is more like central. Like in the middle. So Trenton is actually the capital of New Jersey.
So that's like the real Jersey.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. But I moved to South Jersey, in these last couple of years, but I'm from Central Jersey. I'm from the middle. I'm from the capital of New Jersey, so. So now I'm but yeah, this last season, first movie, that's going to be good. And I'm excited, like I said, about the young guy who's one of the brothers, and I'm excited about his journey. And I can't say too much because then I'm going to give away season 2. So
yeah.
I definitely want you to watch it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it was just really amazing. The Brie character, she's still searching for her parents, and I would say her and Summer. You remember in season 1, her and Summer, she wound up cheating with her best friend boyfriend. So
that was crazy.
But it's life, right?
That was crazy.
But it happened. It do though,
It
like
do happen a lot. It's happening at the highest rate right now because I was talking about it, and 'cause I'm going for my doctorate, and in this,
congrats.
thank you, and I'm taking this class called data analytics, and one of the assignments we had to do was talk about academic honesty, and someone said that, and I said it too. The biggest reason why it's a big problem with academic honesty is because we live in an era where we got internet, we got social media, and we's at this mindset where you said it earlier. Social media is like a drug. It's like if you don't know how to use it right, if you don't know how to use it as a tool, you could get sucked up in it, and it could cause you to lose your mind because I don't have this, I don't have that. So in this era, people see the glitz and glamour, and they try to, get this money or get famous or whatever so fast, but they gotta understand that it's a slow pace. So, it just goes back to like we need to learn how to have patience. You know what I'm saying? We need to learn how to, appreciate life, appreciate the time that we have. So. Yeah, man.
Exactly. For sure.
It's crazy.
For sure.
So
it be that.
So it's weird because you probably, I want to say, the second or third person that I had on the show, like as the second or third time. So usually I'd be like, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? But I want to know what's next after the movie. What's next after, because you already talked about a few other ventures that you have. But what's next after this release of the mini movie?
What's next is, of course, the book, 2024. That's my first book. I've always wanted to be an author, so I'm really, really excited. And when I wrote it, I was just thinking like, oh yeah, it's done. And I remember when I went through my first editor, it was like, man, we got to go through we got to go through some drafts. And I'm like, oh man, like this ain't going to be easy, So to be able to get with a new editor and they're going through it now, and then we got to sit down and go over the first draft, and and it just feels good. So what's next for me is my book at the top of the year next year. Me working on a short called Unconventional November. So I haven't wrote that yet. I've only jotted down a little bit. After my brother died, I didn't write after he died really for like almost a year and a half. I tried to start writing last year a little bit, but I really haven't really wrote since he been gone. Like the day he died, that morning I was like, it's done. I finally finished writing the book, and then hours later, so I went from this exciting feeling to like one of the lowest feelings, So I haven't really wrote since he got murdered. So I plan on just writing more. So book, top of the year, new movie next year. My radio show, hopefully I'll still be working on my radio show that I do once a month. And then still hopefully I'll still be working on this new radio show that I'm doing out of Philly with them. And hopefully I'll still be doing that and just growing and learning more and meeting new people and, entering myself more into like film festivals and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's where I see myself, like what I got going on next is the book, the movie, and the 2 radio shows that I'm working on, like, more interviewing and stuff like that. Like that's what I see so far right now. That's new. So yeah, that's what I'll be working on next, like those things.
That's what's up, man. And what else I was about to say? How does the radio work? Like you said, it's calling, right?
Yeah, so the radio show that I do once a month is based out of Lagos, Nigeria. So that people can get on the internet and listen to it, or they can dial in a certain, a number, and they can listen to it. And I do my show, like I said, once a month. So I just get people that might want to come on and, you know, I interview. They might want to talk about stuff or promote their stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll send them questions and we'll just go over some stuff. And so, yeah, I do that once a month and it's really cool. So it'd be like a couple of million people listening. So I'll be like, this is dope, you know? So I did a show like last month and it was like 19 million people tuned in and listened. So I was like, wow, that's pretty dope, you know? So I was like, I wish these 19 million people go watch my show. You know what I'm saying? But it's just amazing to be able to have that platform. So I'm grateful. And the other radio show that's out of Philly, that's amazing too. Like a couple of weeks ago, I got a chance to sit with the other radio hosts and they was interviewing this woman from the Tyler Perry show, Brother. And she also was in Tyler Perry movie, you know, plays and stuff, movie. So, and then they interviewed the guy called Not So Carlton Banks or something, the Instagram guy. So they interviewed them, and then just me being there and seeing them on screen and everything, it just made me dream bigger. Like, these people will work with Tyler Perry, and I'm sitting here, like, as they're interviewing these people, and I'm like, what's the bridge or the connection between them and me, them and Tyler Perry? Like, so it just made me realize, like, Richard, it's possible. Like, you're sitting in a room with these people, and they work with Tyler Perry. Like, God got you in the air for a reason. So some of the stuff that I'm doing, I never thought that it was possible, you know? So God is, like I said, God is good. I'm not going to lie to you. I get discouraged sometimes, like, as far as my show, because I know that my show could do some amazing things. But at the end of the day, like, I just want God's blessing. So it's just like, I'm like Moses, like, you know, he didn't want to go without God, you know? And it's like, I feel the same way. Like, God, if you ain't in it, I don't want to do it. So I don't want to get to a place in my career as I'm climbing this, whatever it is called, you know, social ladder or whatever the industry. I don't want to lose my soul. You know, I don't want to get to the point where I'm becoming successful that I'm willing to, like, you know, sell my soul for it, because I'm not doing that. So it's just like, if God ain't leading me, I don't want it, honestly. I don't care how much money. You know, it's been things where I've turned down that has been good. Not necessarily, I hope, money or anything, but just opportunities, you know, that if it wasn't right or, you know, for me, I just, you know, I just do it. So I want to make sure that I stay true to who I am. And that's most important, like, because when you're chasing a dream or, you know, you're trying to break into the entertainment business, it's like, you could talk about anything, sex, drugs, money, but when you start talking about God, people, they don't want to hear that. So I ain't get this far, turn my back on them, you know what I mean, on God, and I ain't going to do it. So I know at the end of the day, no matter how successful I am or not, I'm going to be successful because I determine what success looks like for me in my life. You get what I mean? And I had to realize that, because sometimes it's stuff out here and on the internet or on TV, and the quality is not good. But because people are on TV and they're successful, quote unquote, according to the world, they feel like they're successful. But, you know, it may just be entertainment, but it might not be things where people are learning or people growing or people are healing, or, you know, it could just be the same old nonsense, you know, over and over, you know.
Right.
So like I said, I'm really proud of the work that I put forward. I know I put my heart into it. I know that losing my best friend, almost 8 years ago, like, going through a hard time. So yeah, I know, like I said, this series, it could change lives. So I'm grateful. No matter what it looked like, I'm successful because I was able to do something I thought I never would be able to do, coming from where I come from. You know, so I'm grateful.
And on that note, you know, like I said before, you know, just keep it going, and you see how God, you know, got you. You know, you slowly being around people that you need to be around with, as far as like where you trying to be at, like the ultimate goal. You know, there tomorrow, you know, Tyler Perry, you may be interviewing him, and then you could, you know, y'all could be doing something together as far as movies or shows, because you have it, you got it. That's the gift that you have. You know how to write, you know how to direct, you know, and I think that's one of the Tyler Perry goals was to to continue to, have that legacy, especially for, for our culture, try to turn Hollywood into Black Hollywood, and just, grow from there,
Right. Exactly.
So you have any shout outs? Of course, you already had the announcements. Do you have any shout outs before we close out the podcast?
I just want to tell people, hurt people, bitter and broken and serious. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Hurt People Series. You can follow me on Facebook. Name RICARDO, RICHARD. You can follow me on Instagram with the same name. Follow us on YouTube, Bitter and Broken Web Series. And check out the first 2 seasons, you know what I mean? And like I said, the third one, the final in the movie, it should be out in the fall. So check it out. Yeah, and if people want to pull up to the movie premiere May 12th, that'd be great too. And So I also want to say the last thing, I'm dedicating my movie to my brother and my mother, the woman that raised me. So my mom, I'm dedicating the series to them. So and my grandma and grandpa.
For sure.
So just honoring their memory. And me and my brother were 3.5 months apart. So
yeah, pretty much what they call it, Irish twins.
Basically. So it's just like we was close, so it's just like dang, so I'm honoring him and all of them. So yeah. And I also want to tell people, just keep living. Like you don't have to die with the dead. Like it's still life after. You just gotta keep going and just know that it's all temporary. The pain is temporary. Like it'll get better. It'll get greater later. You'll still miss them, but it will get easier. It does. It gets easier. I mean, it's still hard, but it definitely gets easier, though.
Exactly. So, yeah, we got to meet up a couple more times this year. We got to meet up for the, come on here, I guess like a month or so. Or probably like if I'm there up in New Jersey, we could I can do the podcast the night before. And then, of course, when the official release during the fall, so it's gonna be a busy year for all of us.
Yeah. And
don't forget about me. Like I want to be on your show. So when anytime you're ready, just let me know. And it's rare when I'm the interviewee, like I'm the guest. So put me on the spot. But yeah, man, this has been your boy DJ Anonymous with another classic episode of Sports Biz Music with my boy Ricardo Richard, and we out. Peace.